Okay, this is what we have so far. We have the gargoyle. I semi-detailed the front portion of the wings. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on the back area. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm using a torch to soften up my clay. Then I'll take my ballpoint, and here, I forget what they call this tool here. It's actually made for cake, the bakery industry. And I'm just going to go ahead and start forming the sections where the bones are located and the thin skin of the wing. I'll just go back and forth until it starts taking shape. And I try to keep the stainless steel ball hotter than the actual clay. I don't want the clay sticking to the stainless steel ball there. And I mark the sections where the bones correspond to the other side. And I'm going to go ahead and do this throughout the whole wing, and I'll come back as soon as I've done most of it. This may be boring for certain people. I don't want to go through the whole process. You guys will get bored, so I might as well just show you stages of the process. Okay, here I added a bead of clay, and it's going to serve as the actual bone of the wing there. So now I am lining it together. I'm using heat, the torch, to soften it up like this here. Once the clay gets somewhat soft, I just apply pressure here and blend it together. Go to the other side. This clay solidifies quickly, so when it gets a little too hard, you just got to reapply the heat to it. I just realized you're probably going to ask, how did you put the bead of clay on there to create the bone? Well, here I have leftover pieces of clay. It's pretty hard, so I just place it over the torch here. You could do over the torch, over place it clay, or light over the clay, soften it up. On a warm day, if it's out in the sun, it'll get nice and soft. And once it gets to the part where I want it, I just scrape a little off. And since this clay is so hard, I'd have to do it in small sections. And I just apply the clay to start building up the areas that are elevated, like so. And I'll continue till I get to the point I want to go. Then I could come back with this here, apply a little heat there. Also apply some heat to my tool, because I noticed if the tool is hot, the clay will not adhere to it, which is cool. That's what you want. So get one side and get the other side. And I'll just work my way all the way to the point where I need it to go. Okay, here we have an update. That's what we have so far. We have the this is his right inner, the outer, the left inner. Now we're going to work on the left outer wing. See, it's a big difference. And this is still semi-done. We still need a lot of detail here, but it's getting there. It reminds me of Batman and his, what do you call it? That gadget he would just get and just fling it at the walls, and it'll wrap around a pipe or something, and he would just crawl up the darn walls, just scaling of the walls. Actually pretty cool. Reminds Batman. Batman. Just not think about it. Batman does somewhat resemble not just a bat, but a gargoyle. Maybe not. Sometimes I have to plug up little crevices. I'll just pick up this clay, leave it there, and just apply the hot tool over it, or if it's a bigger piece, I just apply some heat to it. This is the back of the wing, so this whole section here, the vertebrae are going to be detailed here, and this will slap onto the back of the gargoyle. It was easier to keep everything intact, both wings, that way everything's symmetrical and everything will line up correctly. I apply tape to my tool sometimes to help me get better grip on it. Also to kind of prevent the heat from traveling up the stem and burning my hands. Okay, now that I have the beads on this here, I'm calling them beads. Call them worms if you want. Nevertheless, they're here. Now, the next step is to get them to look like this. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and apply some heat to it to try to get them to fuse onto the wing section. You don't want to overdo with the torch. If you do, you'll singe your clay, and it'll ruin the properties of the clay. All this here will be blended in later, become part of the back here. Ooh. Stay put, okay. you know, let's see. I'm looking at my viewfinder and see what you guys see. Okay, you get the curvature there going. And again, this whole section here, you won't be able to tell later. It'll be part of this here. The spines are showing up. Will be showing up here. This will be adjusted somehow to show the main bone structure coming up this way. Very cool, coming along. Let's see. Hello. 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 Yeah, it looks like you. I'm gonna come over to the torch. Just kidding. It's about 5 inches away. Cool. Alright, I'll send another update in about a week or so.